Here we are with part 4, Sunday, 1732, 33:02 seconds, the year 2022, 7th month, July 17th day. Now this video, I just want to show how we put this old junkyard rotor on here, and we didn't get it turned, and when I put this rotor on, I went out for the test drive, and we were getting all kinds of noise all over it, you know, because it's not shiny. It's got rough spots in it, although it's fairly flat, and it's nice and thick. So when I first went out there on the first test drive, it's fucking noisy as fuck all over the fucking place. And so I just said to myself, I says, well, common logic says you just keep driving it like that, eventually it'll smooth itself out from hitting the brakes, right? And so sure as fuck enough, common logic and common sense dictates, right? Slowly but surely, as each day passed during the week, it got less noisy, and less noisy, and less noisy, right? Whereas the average Joe would have probably freaked out and thought, oh, it's fucked up. Then he'd go to the mechanic and spend $500 for him to tell him, oh, you just need to turn. And they'll just tell you to turn the rotors. Charge you another $500 to turn the rotors, and then you'll be happy, right? But if you know more than the average fuck, you know, you start thinking that there's some stupid shit going on in this world. And that, you know, usually it's just a matter of the self looking into what the fuck's going on instead of listening to what everyone else is telling us is going on, which is a big fat ass lie. If we look into it for ourselves and start figuring out what's going on, you know, then we don't fall prey to this fucking money scam world full of lies. So anyway, there is a principle there. There's the principle. So as you can see, some of the rough spots are starting to get smoothed out, or, you know, or some high spots or whatnot. And eventually, dry it for another month or so. It'll be nice and shiny and level all the way across it. Nice and shiny and level. And another thing I want to say, now that we got this new caliper on, it does wiggle and jiggle. But it's not making a bunch of fucking metal to metal clink noise. So it is a little bit tighter than the other one. Plus the fact that, you know, the caliper seals and probably the caliper itself is probably, you know, somewhat straighter and all that stuff, because that other one it's been through fucking hell and back again. But I'm really curious, is when we jack the other side up, I want to shake the caliper over in there and see what kind of play we get on that caliper over there. But anyway, so we tightened down the bolts, and we torqued these things down to 65 pounds. You know, if you need to, you can go to the local mechanic's book and look it up on the internet or YouTube or whatever. But there's a torque wrench that says 65 pounds right there. There's 70, there's 60 over there probably. Somewhere. Or 60 somewhat buried down there, and then we're at 70 right there. But we're halfway to 70 because there's 6 and there's 4. And there's the little spike for 5. But anyway, so let's put the another thing I want to say too is this rotor has play in it when we turn it. It's dirty. See, it jiggles on the jam and it has play on it, but that's just the way it is because it sits loose on there. And it's not going to come off because it's blocked with this brace right here that holds the caliper on. So, but anyway, so just in case you're playing around with your car or whatnot and you start saying to yourself, what the fuck, why is this fucker loose like that? And that's because it just has 5 holes there, and it just slides on these studs right here, and that's all that it's on, and it just rides freely on there. So you don't have to get all worried. You go to the mechanic, you pull the wheel off, you'll go to the mechanic, spend another $500 for him to tell you, oh, that's just the way it is. The next thing you know, you can't pay the landlord any rent because you had to spend your last $500 just so you could get to work and feel secure down the freeway and not worry about if you're going to lose a wheel, cause an accident, and then your insurance rates are going to jack the fuck up. Now you can't feed the kids, right? All because you don't know how to look into things for the self. Always relying on some third-party intervener to handle business for us, right? But even at that, there is some level of trust. But just remember, there's some folks out there don't give a shit, and they'll rob you for every fucking last penny they can get over on you, or over on me, or over on us, or anyone. That's just the way some of these fuckers are. Don't give a flying fuck. They'll say to themselves, they'll size you up as soon as you pull into the mechanic's driveway. They'll size you up and they'll say, oh, here's a sucker. I'm going to get some good. They say to themselves, I got an outstanding bill this month. How much can I get off this fucker so I can pay my bill? That's all it's about. How much can I step on this fucker so I can get myself up the ladder in society? That's the way it's always been like this for a long time, folks. And that's a bunch of shit, isn't it? But anyway, there's some of us here that like to audit expose all this fucking shit. And it is shit. Fucking shit, too. You know what shit is? Shipping high in transit. You know what that is? Having to pay for fucking everything. And then you get it shipped. You get it shipped to you. Shipping high in transit. Okay, you know what fuck is? To fornicate under the consent of the king. That means he's going to regulate every... The guy in control of society is going to regulate everyone's sex life and tell you what to do with your sex life and how you should regulate your sex life according to the slave citizen fake media society rule, right? And then there's another word, it's called ass. And that actually stands for the attorney who assumes jurisdiction over all what he considers the slaves, tell them all what the fuck to do according to what the king says with his fucking shipping fake fuck money program. Where it's all based on taking advantage of someone and stepping on them, all in the name of putting on a front, oh, we want to look out for your welfare and make sure no one takes advantage of you. And they're the ones controlling the advantage programs. Because they got the little backdoor gang members looking out for you, saying to themselves, there's a sucker. Let's get him. And they're all on the king's side. So they got this fake fucking society giving everyone this false sense of fucking security, and they're backstabbing everyone back behind closed doors. See what I'm saying? And it ain't as great and Jesus friendly as you think it is. Bunch of fucking jacking off all the time. Always having to jack up a fucking car all the fucking time because there's something always going to break. And it's set up like that on purpose. Anyway, till part 5 or part 6. Talk to you later.